Listen to this sound, the pit-pat of rain outside the office window. Clear water droplets clinging to the glass, slowly sliding down and vanishing into the earth. To you and me, it is just a normal rainy afternoon. A familiar weather event that sometimes brings a bit of romance or a minor annoyance in a traffic jam. We sit safely inside our concrete walls, completely blocking out the elements. Forgetting the raw power of the world outside. We track the hours, manage our schedules, and stress over minutes. Yet we remain blind to the massive cosmic clock ticking around us. You probably think that the water droplet outside was just born from the clouds in the sky a few hours ago. But scientists will tell you an astonishing truth. The raindrop that fell on your shoulder this afternoon is over 4 billion years old. Long before it fell from a cloud today. That exact same water traveled through the freezing vacuum of space on icy comets and burning asteroids during the heavy bombardment period of our early solar system. It has been here since the Earth first formed, witnessing the birth and destruction of countless eras. And it carries a violent history that is hard for us to imagine. Today's rain is very gentle. The modern atmosphere, with its perfect balance of nitrogen and oxygen, has polished raindrops to make them pure, soft, and refreshing. But if you turn back time to the early days of Earth, the concept of rain was an absolute nightmare. After the Big Bang and the chaotic formation of our planet, Earth back then was just a massive ball of fire full of scorching, bubbling lava. The early atmosphere choked potential life with toxic gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and thick sulfur spewing from tens of thousands of violent volcanoes. There was no blue sky, only a heavy, suffocating blanket of orange and crimson clouds. The ground constantly shook as endless rivers of liquid rock carved deep canyons across the barren continents, waiting for the sky to break. As the planet began to cool down over millions of years, water vapor from deep within the cracks of the Earth escaped into the air, building up into pitch-black storm clouds that completely blocked out the sun. And then, the first rain in Earth's history poured down. It was not a storm that lasted a few hours, a few days, or even a few months. It was a planetary deluge that lasted for thousands of years, crashing down continuously without a single moment of rest. Imagine the first heavy raindrops plunging down onto a molten rock surface that was still burning at thousands of degrees Celsius. The water immediately evaporated back into the sky before even touching the ground, creating an endless, terrifying loop of roaring thunder, blinding lightning, and superheated steam. Rain during this period did not taste sweet or refreshing. It was a dense acid rain, thick with the smell of rotting sulfur and carrying a corrosive power capable of dissolving mountains. It was this relentless, thousand-year destructive rain that slowly cooled the Earth's crust, pooling in the massive low-lying craters and creating the first primitive oceans. The very places where the earliest single-celled life began to flicker. If you think that the ocean creating rain was the most magnificent thing, geological history records another climate event that was far crazier and more impactful. Let us travel to the Triassic period, about 232 million years ago. At this time, all the continents in the world were still merged into a single, giant supercontinent called Pangaea. It was an extremely arid, brutal world, with massive, lifeless deserts stretching for thousands of kilometers, where water was the rarest luxury. However, a massive chain of volcanic eruptions in the region that is now Western North America released a colossal amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, causing the Earth to heat up abruptly. This global warming triggered a planetary shift that scientists call the Carnian Pluvial Episode. Earth began a reign that lasted for 2 million years. You did not hear that wrong. A reign that never stopped for 2 million consecutive years. It reigned from one generation of creatures to the next, from one century to another, reshaping the entire face of the planet. The arid deserts of the supercontinent Pangaea quickly turned into lush, humid tropical wetlands filled with giant ferns and towering club mosses. Giant roaring waterfalls cascaded over cliffs that had been dry for millions of years, reshaping the very geography of the world day by day. The constant mudslides, flooding rivers, and intense humidity of this 2 million year reign wiped out most of the old organisms that dominated the land at the time. But right in the ruins of that endless wind and rain, a small, agile organism that adapted well to the humid environment found its opportunity to rise. That was the early dinosaur. Before the rain, dinosaurs were just a minor, struggling group on the margins of the ecosystem. The 2-million-year Carnian reign was the golden key that allowed them to diversify, multiply, and open the door to hundreds of millions of years of dinosaur dominance on Earth. Looking back at the past shows us that prehistoric reign was a great creative and destructive force of nature. It carried the energy of volcanic fires, the tang of ancient acid, and the power to reshape the geography of an entire planet. Today's reign, under this peaceful atmosphere, has become much gentler, a quiet background noise to our busy lives. But one thing has never changed, and that is the nature of the water droplets themselves. The universe is a closed system, and Earth does not generate new water from nothing. The amount of water on our planet today is exactly the same amount of water that has existed since 4 billion years ago. What does this mean for us? The raindrop falling on your roof right now might have been part of that prehistoric 2-million-year deluge. It might have been the bathwater for a Tyrannosaurus Rex, flowed through the veins of an ancient hominid, or been part of the primitive ocean where the first pulse of life began. When you drink a simple glass of water, you are absorbing the same molecules that witnessed the cooling of the planet and the rise of the first forests. Water is the greatest traveler of time, constantly recycling, constantly changing from liquid to gas to solid, passing through the bodies of billions of organisms, and then returning to the vast sky. This limitation and beautiful cycle of water contain a profound philosophical message about our modern existence. We often live our lives with a constant sense of hurry, always worrying about the future, checking our metrics, and regretting the past. We are surrounded by notifications on phone screens, the success pressures of modern society, and we easily forget that we are part of a journey much greater than that. When you understand that the ordinary water droplet out there carries the memory of 4 billion years of history, you will look at the world with very different eyes. You will see that you are not alone or separate from nature. Your body, your blood, and even your tears are made of the exact same ancient matter that created the oceans and nourished prehistoric creatures. Every cell in your brain, every drop of sweat from your hard work, and every tear you shed contains atoms that have existed since the dawn of time. You are quite literally a walking piece of cosmic history. Tonight, if it rains, try putting your phone down, step out onto the balcony, open the window, or stand under a porch to listen to the rainfall. Do not try to think about tomorrow's work, and do not check if anyone just texted you. Just stand there, reach out your hand to catch the cool droplets, and feel the breeze blow across your skin. Let your mind be completely still and realize that you are directly touching the eternity of the universe through something incredibly ordinary. Value the present moment and live a truly full life. Because even the raindrop falling on your shoulder right now had to go through a journey of billions of years just to meet you today.